All right, greetings, YouTube. Beautiful Mind here. This question comes in from a friend, helping with, I think it was a nephew's homework. So with the climate, with the social climate of everything, with the whole Corona and everything, a lot of parents are having to take some time out and actually homeschool their children, and they're seeing what we have to experience as educators. I had to share with my family, like, look, I don't have to deal with all that stuff at this level, at the collegiate level. When they start acting a fool, I'm like, look, you gotta go. I'm not even about to deal with all that. But my hats off. My hats off to all the educators that have to put up with that. There are a lot of people that have to deal with that, and they be stressed out. I was about to like totally be speak my mind, but so hopefully, as a result of all this, we can start appreciating each other more, and we can see that everybody is needed. Everybody's perspective. I mean, as much as as much as I'm pro black, being pro black does not mean that you're anti. Does not mean that you're anti anybody else. Um, so I say that to say I personally take on a philosophy where I feel that everybody's voice is needed. Everybody needs a seat at the table. When it does seem to be this thing where when people feel ostracized or left out, guilty. When people feel ostracized or left out and they feel like they don't have a voice, then that's where this whole notion of deplorables and this whole revenge energy and all this kind of stuff seems to be popping up. Versus if everybody has a seat at the table, everybody's perspective is incorporated into the structural design of this environment, we make sure that everyone is taken care of. We drastically reduce this need for animosity and revenge. Now, of course, you're going to have some people that they just want to attack and be that way just for the sake of being that way. But if I definitely feel that focusing on the win-win for everybody will drastically help, because if people are happy, then people will do what they need to do. I know me personally, like even if money wasn't there, if I had all the time and all the money in the world, what would I do with myself? I would still be talking about mathematics, and I would still do it. Like, I only charge because we have to eat. That's what everybody agrees on. But if that wasn't there, if I had my food, shelter, and my freedom, I would still study mathematics because it's so much fun. And that's a beautiful thing about this whole thing, is that you know you can't say what somebody's gonna like. So if we remove this notion of money and and this distraction of money and all these things, if people didn't have to work initially, what's going to happen is everybody's going to get some rest because people are exhausted, right? So they're going to get rest, but eventually what's going to happen, you're going to be tired, you're going to get tired of laying around. So then what's going to happen is that people are going to start to focus and start to do what they love to do, and you can't say what somebody's going to love to do. Some, like, I do landscaping, I love it. I would do it for free. I had to charge because the upkeep of the equipment, it costs money. But if there are people that are mechanics, they would gladly just work on the machine just for the sake of working on the machine. And like, I feel that the more we do things just for the sake of doing it, not necessarily charging or anything of that nature, that's how we can balance out some of this capitalistic energy and some of this energy that's here. Not that capitalism is bad, but I just don't agree with, like, affecting people's livelihood and letting people die. We are actually in the existence of an age where we have more than enough for this to be a utopia. We have, like, clean fuel, we have free energy, devices that run on water with zero emissions. Like there is no reason we can still have all of our luxuries, and like everything is moving to automation. We can have all of our luxuries, and like there's no reason for anybody to be stressed out. It's like the people in power just want to stay in power. Like, why? Like, they can still have everything they want and everybody's taken care of and happy. Like, just let people be happy, let people be free, and people will come out and do what needs to be done. It's like, okay, if people are free, then people don't go to work. Oh, we don't have power. But then if you want power, you're gonna go figure out how to generate some power. That means you're gonna, and if you know that what you're doing is killing yourself, that's not sustainable. Like raping Mother Earth, taking her resources, her blood, her oil, cutting down her lung, her the trees and all that stuff. Like, we killing ourselves. So that kind of activity is not sustainable. But like, I would have continued studying. Like, I stopped studying because I was too distracted by worrying about money and finances and resources. I stopped studying. But the way my mind is, I totally, like, I love figuring things out. As a mathematician, I'll figure it out. When I took my biology classes, I was a top student in my biology class, but I'm a mathematician. And like when I was in grad school, I stopped studying because I was worried about this whole Trump energy, people losing their minds. I was recovering from mental health, so I'm just like, so that's why I kind of just pumped the brakes. And I was like, no, let me just slow down. And, I realized that my health is my responsibility, not the doctors, not my parents, not a loved one, not children, nobody. That's not their job. My happiness is my responsibility. Happiness is an inside job. My health is my responsibility. So it's like, because when I listen to the doctors, when I first got sick, they were like, oh, you're going to be this way for the rest of your life. I was like, what? And I believed them. I believed them for like 10 years. Went back and forth with them fools. And they kept every 3 years or so. I was like, oh, we got to do this or we got to do that. And it dawned on me. I was like, you know what? These guys are using me as a guinea pig. So then I was like, you know what? I can't expect them to heal me. I have to heal myself. So hence, that's why I personally study like vegetarian, veganism, doing my best to be exercised. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm still a multi-dimensional being having a human experience. So I definitely will throw down on like a steak or some chicken or whatever. But I think, not to be long winded and not to ramble, but I feel like a lot of this is just about awareness. And so now that people aren't like, I know personally because I didn't have to commute an hour one way to work. So that's like 2 hours every day and then a couple of hours to get dressed and then trying to have the energy to get home. That's like what, 5 or 6 hours at least just trying to get to and from work, not to mention work. So now that time that that was wasted just commuting and all this energy and gas and travel is like now there's personal time where I can go and meditate. I can sort my thoughts, you know. I can clean up my environment because my environment is going to be a reflection of my inner machinations. So, not to be long-winded, I know I kind of went off on a little tangent, but the spirit hit me to share it, so I went on to share it, and I don't mind. I stand by what I say. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. I might have a smile on my face, I might look kind of goofy, but I ain't no fool. And it's like I do that light energy because I feel like the light being alive is hard enough as is. We constantly having to worry about food. You see how fragile everything is. We can be wiped out or killed in an instant. So it's like, it's already serious. It's like, we don't need more of that. One of my mentors would say, you know, application, or you got to forget to play. Like, when you're a kid, you play, but then the real world application is you forget that you're playing, but it's the same energy. But when you have the energy of play, that's what keeps you fluid, moving, so that you can kind of stay in the rhythm and flow, and you can kind of be in tune, and you can catch whatever little alerts you need and things of that nature. So, I just something said, go ahead and dive into it. Shout outs to Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart. He always like pumping out such positive, self-empowering information on a daily basis. The brother's phenomenal. You know, we're all spiritual beings having a human experience, but definitely inspired by Infinite Waters, a fellow Piscean. So anyway, so this question. So again, back to this whole, families are now having to do homeschooling and seeing what it's like for teachers, and hopefully we can all take care of each other and realize that everybody needs a seat at the table. Everybody's perspective is important. We all have a piece of the puzzle, and we can't get a clear picture of the complete image if we're missing pieces, right? So everybody's perspective is necessary, needed, and important. Also, shout outs to Dr. Deepak Chopra and Oprah. These are also some very powerful gurus and that I follow that have helped me through my personal journey as well. So, with this question, so yeah, I had a friend that sent me this. I think she tried to type it. I was like, look, you can just send me a picture and I'll load it and I'll make a dedicated video. I know it kind of rambled. I'm not going to worry about that. But let's take a look at this. Let's go here. I guess presentation mode would have been better, but okay. Oh, so yeah, when I'm solving something like this, so first, let me just start by getting a copy of the original. We have this 3. I don't like that. Oh, I think that's the right one. Let's just go with it. 3 times 4 minus 8 plus 4 squared times 2 plus 5. Okay. So this is an example of order of operations. Order of operations. So operate, that is totally not how you spell operations. It's like first they get awarded. So order of operations, I know that there's another, so you have to have an agreed order. I think internationally they might do it a little different. Like I was speaking with some other people like from Africa or some other countries. Even though I know Africa's not a country, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that internationally, I know that there are people that do it in a different order, and that actually does affect the answer. So, for our purposes, we're going to do the following order. We're going to use PEMDASLS. So PEMDASLS is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally's last request, right? This is the order of operation. The P stands for parentheses, right? Parentheses. The E stands for exponents, right? So that's things like squared, things of that nature. So the P for parentheses, you want to do any grouping symbols first. So we want to start with the innermost nested grouping groups first. So basically, just like in life, we want to work our way from the inside to the out, all right? Sorry. Okay. So order of operation here, first thing we're going to do, highest priority goes to the grouping symbols of parentheses, working our way from the inside to the out. I mean, this stuff is deep. Like, most of society do things on surface. Facebook, it's all surface. It's all, oh, what kind of makeup, what kind of things can I change to the outside? But then when you go deeper in, we're all miserable. We're all like, self-sabotaging and loathing ourselves and all this kind of stuff and anxiety and all this. But if you really want to heal, if you really want to be, to me, true beauty shines from within. It's not makeup. It's not something that you put on the outside. It's taking the time to remove your distractions, do the inner work, and like heal internally so that your beauty can shine through. And I have, like, most of the people in my life, that's how they are. And new people that come into my life, a lot of times either they're already there or they're on their way there. Like, they've noticed that surface stuff don't work. It's not sustainable. And then, so they usually come into my realm because they're starting to walk that path. Because I know who's in my presence, because there's only certain people that can come into my field because of who I am. So anyway, to get back on task. So first, we want to offer priority to parentheses. Then next we move to exponents. Now the next one, so some people think that. So what we want to do is group multiplication and division, right? And we just want to do those left to right. So whenever we have to decide between multiplication or division, we just do it left to right, right? In the same way we group multiplication and division, we also group addition and subtraction. That we also do that left to right. All right? Okay. So then the LR stands for left to right. Okay. So we move from the left to the right. So this is the order in which we focus on priority. The grouping symbol, the nested grouping symbols first, with the innermost group first. Then we target any exponents, and then whenever we have to decide between multiplication and division, we just do it left to right. Whenever we have to decide between addition and subtraction, we do it left to right. Okay, and again, the LR stands for left to right. Okay, so now if we apply this order of operations to this question, let's move this over. Let's move it like right there. Okay, so if we apply order of operations here, the first thing we want to target are parentheses, right? So the innermost parentheses we have are this is the one that's the most nested set of parentheses. It's the innermost, right? So this is what we would do first. So then 2 plus 5 becomes 7. So let me highlight this. We would do this one first. Nope, like this. And that's going to become 7. And then everything else just comes down, right? So now we've done the 2 plus 5. There is still multiplication here. So then we have this 4 squared plus 8 minus 4, like this, and these two should be equal. So now, we're still working within a set of parentheses. We still have another grouping symbol, so we would focus on these guys in here. But then with these set of numbers, since there's no parentheses within, now we're going to target our exponents. So the next thing we do are exponents. So an example of an exponent is here, this 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. Okay. Yeah, let's be consistent. So let's change that to, let's do blue. So next, that 4 squared becomes 16. I'm just going to bring everything else down. So the times 7 comes down, that comes down, this comes down, this comes down, 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 right? Okay. So, still working with the innermost set of parentheses, we have 4 minus 8 plus 16 times 7. So this is one way to do multiplication. So with this, we would offer a priority to multiplication over addition. So 16 times 7 is 70, so 36 and 42. 70 plus 42 is that 112? I think that's 112. Okay. Let's do. I'll do this color. So I think that's 112. Okay. 70, let me see, 70, 36, and 42. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go with this. So now at this point, we have to decide between addition and subtraction. So we can honestly just do this left to right. So then 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 12 is what? 108. All right. So then that becomes 108. What's left? The 3 comes down. Okay. And then 3 times 108 is 300. So 324. And this was the final result that I got. Okay. So I know we went on a little adventure or journey, and I don't mind. Style. We want that to be, that's good. And then the fill, like that. Let's thin that up a little bit. That's better. Okay. So paper. So we got this result. Okay. So yeah. So a little bit of a journey on the inner machinations of the mind of a mathematician. I don't know. I don't even know if you can call it that, but that's just where my mind goes. Like I study a lot of metaphysics and spirituality, but I'm just excited about this day and age because a lot of the spiritual philosophies or ideas, science is actually starting to back these notions or ideas. So that's why I feel comfortable saying what I say and sharing because typically the things that I share can be backed by like actual research and experiments that have been done. Okay. So on that note, we're actually going to end the session here. And from one beautiful mind to another, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.